It's Party Truth with me on JJ Tawani. Welcome to Power to Truth. Tonight we're going to Limpopo, where we find the Provincial Secretary of the African National Congress, Ruben Madedze, who is going to be my guest tonight. But I thought before we do that, I wanted to talk a little bit about municipalities. I think it was 2 weeks ago, the Auditor General released a very shocking report. I'm sure you're no longer shocked. And as part of the trouble, we are no longer shocked about the dysfunctionality of municipalities. It's no longer shocking us. If you're saying, only 15% have a clean audit, in that sentence, it means that the balance of the people there's chaos, there's irregular expenditure, there's wasteful expenditure, there's corruption and theft, and so on. One of the things that I like about what the former Auditor General used to say, when politicians are quick to say, yeah, you know, an unqualified audit doesn't necessarily mean corruption. There are experts in saying that. Well, once you say there's wasteful expenditure, they are quick to say, yeah, but it doesn't necessarily mean corruption. Well, it is just a technical term. And Makwetu said, no, it necessarily means corruption. And I agree with him. Because if you look at just you take an area of irregular expenditure, for that expenditure to be irregular, it means that somebody tried to crook the system. Even if from a superficial point of view, you may not see it, right? They will say, no, there was a panel that chose these people. Can't they put their friends there? They put their friends and girlfriends on a panel, and then they appoint themselves. In 2009, the Scopa received a list of 2,000 names from across all of government, whether be it local government, or provincial government or national government, of people who did business with themselves. By pile business, Mutwate is a DG, and then he appoints himself, his company, registered with him as a sole director. We pay all now. And that one is actually less sophisticated. Then bribe if you his son, driver, baki, and what have you. Those are the type of people. 2,000 names. Oscopa. To him, business with themselves, giving their girlfriends and wives and mistresses, everything. Anything that represents them, you know, in a crooked way, they give it. 2,000. And none of those people are in prison. In the last 4 or 5 years, the Auditor General has told us that she has found 4, 5, 6 billion rand of wasteful expenditure. I'm not aware, and if I am, I stand corrected. There's not one person who's in prison for that. Not one. And actually, the Auditor General went to Parliament a few years ago to ask for powers to say, I can't just be reporting that money is being wasted, and so I need powers to do something about it. Now, you ask yourself, why do we have this kind of mess at municipal level? And the answer is glaring us in the face. Just this week, right, Action SA, right, and I'm sure the ANC in the background, whatever it is, they now want to remove the mayor of Tshwane. And I'll tell you what is stinking about it. In many years, this city of Tshwane has been the most stable in the last 2 or 3 years. You may not like it. You may not like the DA. Like I don't have time for the DA most of the time. But Cilliers Brink has actually brought some stability there, as opposed to many years of rampant corruption there. And not inconsequential corruption, rampant. We're talking here about 35 people who died in Hammanskraal because of the corruption of an ANC benefactor called Mr. Sodi. Sodi. He took money that was supposed to actually build Royval treatment plant and chow that money, and then people died because of contaminated water. We're not talking about inconsequential things. Oh, no, it's just corruption. No, you talk too much about corruption. Just leave it alone. No. 35 people died. Nobody is in prison for it. Even that sort is not. He's roaming free, hosting bloody parties everywhere because he's just laughing at the system that has allowed him Not once, but many times. He's the same guy who people can die of asbestos because he stole that money in the Free State. No, he goes there, steals the thing, under the nose of the ANC, that now wants to replace the mayor who up to now has made more progress than they tried in 30 years to try and make sure that the people of Hammanskraal have clean water. Yeah, I can give me a deal. I don't care. Let's look at his track record. Has he managed to collect in the last 2 months 1 billion rand? Has he managed to switch off businesses that don't pay? Has he managed to do that and stand the ground with the unions who wanted to wreck the place with their crazy demands? That's the mayor who created the most stability there in that city. They're going to remove him. And what annoys me is that, one of my favorite politicians, the Herman Mashaba, who, we've always given an excuse that he's not a politician. He's now a real politician now. He's a full-on politician who says 1 minute, I will never work with the ANC over my dead body. And then come after the election and says, hey, Kunzima, let's rather work with them. I don't know what to believe now. I like Herman Mashaba. He has a lot of good ideas. But on this one, he has missed the boat. There's 2 years to go to the election. What's going to happen? And this is it's just a case study. It happens everywhere around the country where we don't put a spotlight, right? A mayor is changed like an undergarment. And then they have to change their MMCs, obviously. They want their own MMCs. It's their turn to eat now. And then the MMCs change the officials because they want their own cronies there. And so the cycle goes, and who gets to suffer is the people who are waiting for service delivery, who have dirty water, who die from poisoned water because we are busy with musical chairs. And there's just no reason. Even in Johannesburg, there was absolutely no reason to change Gwamanda, who the ANC told us how wonderful he is. He's one of the best mayors in the world. And they actually, spoke as an absent-minded person. When they fired him, they were about to fire him. But it's a press conference, wait. But this guy was so good, he did so well. And then Bamu fire, but no. This is the inconsistency of government, but it shows that you and I are on our own. Because these politicians would rather chop and change mayors, councillors, speakers, every 2 minutes they wish. Bugger the people. Bugger the people. I'm very, very disappointed. Like I said, Herman Mashaba, one of my favorite politicians, because he was not a typical politician. But it catches up with you. There's something that happens when you become a politician that, it's rather confusing. I'm yet to see an exception of somebody who just escapes the bug of just being a typical politician that speaks through 2 sides of their mouth. 1 minute, no. ANC so bad, so terrible, I'll never work with them, they destroyed this country. And then the next minute, hey, retiring. But the people have spoken. I don't know where I can live on once, man. Mark my words, South Africa. We got to do something different. Because those we thought could be an alternative are proving to be just like those we want to get rid of. And that's sad. After the break, we talked to the Provincial Secretary of Limpopo. He'll tell me whether this phenomenon of dysfunctional municipalities also applies there.